All right, everybody, welcome to yet another edition of ReEducation Camp. And Karen, I'll tell you what, I'm a very complicated man, as you have probably gathered by now, and I just can't imagine like what type of woman is going to want to take on all of these duties and responsibilities and dealing with the eccentricities. I mean, just to peel back the curtain a little bit, like for all of our loyal listeners and subscribers, I was having Karen tell me if one of my eyes looks bigger than the other because I banged my face on a speaker stand in the middle of the night in my darkened closet trying to pet the cat. So that's just like a little like a brief glimmer of what you would be taking on with this glorious package here.
This
So
project. I want people to
yeah.
comment below which eye you think looks bigger. So I want to know what, because I think we had
Uh,
opposite ideas of which one was bigger. But yes, yeah. I've told you multiple times. My advice. Also comment your dating advice for Collin. We'd appreciate that.
please.
Um, my advice has been to go to church, go to Catholic church and
I
meet
went
a nice
once.
Catholic, yeah, so he tried that once and no consistency
Well, the thing
there.
is,
Was there only like old ladies there?
see, here's the deal. The Sunday morning mass starts at 10 a.m. 10 a.m., that's like prime coffee drinking time, like on the couch with the cat in your lap, drinking coffee, doing some doom scrolling. That's
Yes.
that's not godly time.
That takes out like 3 hours of your day. So that's like a big
Right.
commitment to kind of rock the boat on your schedule. But I think
Yeah.
I gave you, what was the other advice I gave you? Was it like a mail order bride, right? From like the Philippines. I think that was the other.
Which
I
I'm
gave
open
up on,
to.
yeah, I gave up on the American woman. I was just like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like she's not going to do the dishes for you. She's not going to do anything. She's going to
Yeah.
expect you to be wealthy. I said, okay, let's just go straight to mail order bride. But I'm not sure how solid mail ordered brides are nowadays, because I think like
That's the
with social
thing.
media, yeah, I think with social media, like they all think they're going to come over and be a Kardashian. Whereas I think back in, oh, you know what? North Korean, that's what you need. Like, because they don't know anything that's going on.
Like
And
that
yeah,
How do you say her name?
Yamoni Park, she was
Yamoni
awesome.
Park.
Yes, Yamoni Park. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, I love
Um,
her.
yes, yes, she would be. Yes, and she married an Irish guy. So an
I'm
American
part
Irish.
Irish
Yes,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
So Colin, there you go. Like that's your type. But so pretty much anything in your life that you would provide for her would be a better alternative than
Exactly.
which, although one of the biggest stories this week, because it really was a slow news week. Did you see that soldier defected to North Korea? The US soldier defected to North Korea.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I was listening to a separate story the other day about a soldier. I think this was a not a soldier. This was just a young tourist who I think Trump actually, when he was still president, he got them out of North Korea because they were
Wait,
imprisoned there.
the Wearsby, I think his name was, or are you talking about him?
I
The
don't
one
know.
that
This
died?
Yes, they did die there. Yeah, they were in a hard
Yes.
labor
Well, no, no.
camp and they
Wait,
died.
I thought it would, no, I thought he came home and he died months later.
You could be
Otto
right.
Warmbier.
I just took us way off course. I
Okay,
apologize.
yeah. Was that
That's kind of
Otto
what I do.
Warmbier, right?
I don't know their name. I just know that they were imprisoned in a hard labor camp because they stole like a or took like a
Flag.
poster.
Yes, yeah, that was Otto Warmbier. And he died like
Okay.
months later. And I don't think that they ever really understood what he died of, because he came home. Like he was able to
Ah,
come home and he actually died in the United States like months after his, I don't know if it was months or like I think it was within a year of getting out of North Korea. So I
probably a
actually
slow
work,
kill poison of sorts.
yeah. I actually work with a guy whose mother, so he's North Korean. He's half Irish and North Korean. North Korean, she
Love it.
married an Irish guy. So I'm trying to see a pattern there that might work for you. And she escaped her entire, so she was a girl, and her family, what happened was like the North, sorry, I gotta put some in my computer. Her family, um, there, all the men in the family were executed in public, and the women in her took all of the children and marched them in, like took them, and they like on foot in the middle of the night fled and walked over the mountains and everything, and like came and escaped. And she came to the United States as like a refugee, and she actually became became a US citizen, like took the US citizen test and everything. And she's actually like a diehard conservative, and she looks down on her like fellow Koreans that just have green cards. Like she's like hardcore, like you need to go and get the citizens test and be a real citizen. Like she's very, very outspoken. And I'd love to interview her. Like that's kind of, I always tell my coworker, I'm like, you need to get, like, you need to interview your mom. Like you need to have her story. But she married an Irish guy. Yomi Park married an Irish guy. So I'm starting to see that might be like the strategy for you, that you just need to find like a North
Could
Korean
be.
refugee. Yeah, there
Could
you
be.
go.
I mean,
There you go. Maybe you should just go to North Korea. Like,
tr- I would be a little hesitant to do that. Like I'm a little hesitant to travel like anywhere outside of the continental United States, to be honest with you, because
yeah,
there's just
well,
no
maybe
telling
that's
what
what you
could
need to
happen.
do. Yeah, I doubt. Well, maybe not North Korea. Maybe that's not. But yes, I'd appreciate anybody with any marriage advice for Colin to drop it in the comments. What he
Please.
should do, any dating advice. Should he do the mail order bride route? Should he go to the Catholic Church? Oh no, that's what I told you. That's what it was. I told you to go Mennonite so that you would have somebody to build a
Right.
homestead for you. That's what it
Right,
was.
right. Because
So
apparently there's
because
this progressive wing of the
a
Mennonite
Mennonite church,
community.
yeah, and not progressive as in like they buy their children tuck bathing suits from Target. Like progressive in that like they wear Nikes is what I mean.
They use
So
electricity.
they use electricity, yeah. So Mennonites aren't like old order Amish. Like they use Instagram. They use, there's like certain ones that like use like they're kind of like, if you look up some of these Mennonites, because that's sometimes what I spend my free time doing is looking at Mennonite influencers. And like they're all about like, having like they'll own like coffee shops or something, or they like farm, or but they make clothes, or like they'll sell the clothes online, but they look like basic white chicks, but they're
Okay.
met, but like imagine them in skirts though, like the Mennonite skirts. And then, but
I can get
their
behind that, I
Instagrams
think.
look exactly like a basic white chick, but with the Mennonite look. And what I was saying is, if you're going to have to live off the land, that means you're going to have to, do that work. Like you're going to have to farm, you're going to have to do a homestead. And I know that might be a little bit of a challenge for you. I'm just trying to be realistic here.
What would make you think that?
You know,
Anything in particular?
getting your fingers dirty, your fingernails dirty, having to be on the sun, having to
Hey, I'll
leave
have you
shadow
know
behind.
well that what do you mean leave shadow behind? She would
I'll
come
leave
with
her.
me.
Oh, she can come outside. Is she an outside cat?
Oh, no, no, no. I just thought you meant like I would have to like leave her
Oh,
behind. Like what?
no, 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 no. That would be fine. Mennonites, I think, like cats. No, I just meant like leave the house is kind of what I was going for. Like you'd have
Maybe
to
I can
leave.
get her on the what is it, the Advantix? Is that the name of the medication? Whatever that flea medication is, because that would be the big concern. I don't want her bringing any sort of fleas
Yeah.
inside, but
Yeah. Well,
as
no,
long as she's in view, I would let her out.
well, Mennonites like make pretzels and lemonade. So what I envision is you get hooked up with a Mennonite woman. They're like all involved with each other. Like they have like all their own little like economy going on. I think you don't have to pay income taxes if you're a Mennonite too. So like that's another, and but that might be Amish. I'm not, don't quote me on that. They do like everything in cash because they don't want the
I love
government
it.
involved. Yeah, you're already liking this, right? And then pretty much what I envision is that you have her like run the farm, the homestead farm. She sells, and like she makes you like lemonade and pretzels, and you just like sit outside while she like farms for you. And they're very entrepreneurial. So you know what I'm saying? So like that, like they would do, I don't know, maybe the Mennonites are starting to become like Kardashians themselves, but like maybe this is the perfect time, because if we're gonna have to live off the land in the new global economy or whatever's coming for us with this digital
CBDC.
currency, yeah, like you're going to want to be living off the land. Like I don't know how I'm going to do that. Like that's a lot of work. Like I might marry a Mennonite woman, like if I could, you know what I'm saying, or a Mennonite man. Like hun, like we're
Hey,
going to have to figure
it is
this
the 2010s. Maybe a Mennonite woman, you know?
maybe not a woman, but that's what, just like I told my husband, like maybe we should just start going to the Mennonite church, because like they know how to do everything off the land. And like they could show us how to, they don't have like GMOs in their food, and like there's a lot there. It's just a consideration. So like I said, if anybody, now I'm gonna give the people options. You got multiple choices here. Does Colin go for the Catholic girls? Choice one. Choice two, does he go for a mail ordered bride? Choice three, does he go for North Korean defector? Choice four, Mennonite. So there's a couple different, I mean, you know what I mean? That there's a lot of possibilities out there. So,
I didn't finish
um,
my story about my church going experience. So
oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I
no,
apologize.
listen, we're
I'll drink
jumping
my
all over the
coffee.
place as usual. But yeah, so the Sunday morning masses, which I assume is where more of the younger crowd would be, starts at 10 a.m. And like if it started at 11 a.m., then okay, we might be in business then. But 10 a.m. is just really pushing it. So I went to the Saturday evening mass, and like you said, it was just Whitehead City, like
Yes,
pew to
yeah.
pew, just nothing but the elderly, which I love the elderly. I love being around the elderly, but it's certainly not an ideal atmosphere if you're looking for a potential partner.
Well, there's option five, wealthy old woman. So that's
Well, if it see, here's the thing, she would have to look like Elizabeth Hurley. Like, I'm willing to go up into the early 50s if they go to a regular yoga or kickboxing class and like
what about Helen
really.
Mirren? What if they look like Helen Mirren?
No.
Disgusting.
Elizabeth Hurley. It has to be. It has to be in that Elizabeth Hurley, J Lo sort of wheelhouse.
Okay,
I'm a
okay.
very
Yeah.
shallow man, just like my mom. My mom's a very shallow woman, and we admit
Okay.
that. That's the thing. We don't hide that.
You're
We admit it. Like,
self-aware. You're self-aware. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's good. I think at least if you're self aware, somehow it's not as horrible. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, I wonder if Elizabeth Hurley is single. Maybe we should just get you
I
hooked
don't
up with
think so.
Elizabeth. You don't
I,
know that.
I'm pretty sure that she's married. I
I
mean,
I don't know. She's always like posting all these thirst trap pictures. So I have a feeling she's not married.
well, she advertises her bikini line.
Oh,
That's the
is that why
thing.
she's always taking pictures in her bikini? I see it on the Daily Mail like every
Yes.
other day. She's a bikini line. Okay, okay.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
love
which
how
is,
you know that she has a bikini. You're her
well,
target customer.
yeah, like apparently I'm who she's advertising towards,
Yeah,
I guess. I follow her on
she makes
Instagram. It's
she makes no sales. It's just all like men looking at it.
probably, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
But
so there you go. So if Elizabeth Hurley is doing any market research, Colin is her number one customer.
and as far as the whole mail order bride thing goes, I've been hard pressed to find a legit mail order bride website because
Okay.
I've been on some of them and I'm like, this looks a little human trafficky to me. I
Yeah, it's a
don't
little
know.
Andrew
Yeah,
Tate.
little Andrew
Yeah.
Tate-esque, which by the way, did you see that his interview with Tucker Carlson, apparently it is the most watched interview in history. I think number 2 is Oprah and Michael Jackson.
Wow, I can't believe that they beat Oprah. But I guess it's the internet, so like everybody can
I think that they're
do it.
counting impressions on Twitter, which
Which that doesn't I could just scroll by and don't actually watch it.
that's the thing. I think if you just scroll past that, it counts it as a view. So I think that's part of the
That's
reason.
not that doesn't
How,
no,
how
that
could
doesn't
you tell how many people actually sat down and watched the whole thing? Because
Who said this? Elon Musk?
no, Elon
Just
Musk
yeah.
didn't say this. I can't remember where I heard this specifically or where I saw this statistic. But another thing to take into consideration too with these interviews is that I watched it on YouTube because people take it off Twitter, they upload it to their own YouTube account. So who knows how many people
How
like
many people have really watched it? Yeah.
yeah, who the heck knows how many people have actually watched this
So does
interview?
Tucker say that Andrew's not guilty? Like is that what or Tucker doesn't really make he just just
Tucker, I don't think that
he's
he
an
knew
enigma. We've
the
had this conversation.
yeah, I don't think he knew the full story surrounding what Andrew Tate is actually being accused of. Here's the deal with Andrew Tate. Here's my whole thing with him
Yeah, let's see
is
your take on Tate.
yes, he does give young men good advice about going to the gym, working out, being masculine. But at the end of the day, he promotes a very hedonistic lifestyle, and I'm like, dude, you act like you invented something that brought something of value to humanity. When at the end of the day, here's what Andrew Tate did. He was a world champion kickboxer who used his fame to attract beautiful young ladies. He got them working on webcams for him. He took 50% of their pay or whatever. And that's how he made his $100 million or however much is worth. So essentially, he made his entire wealth through glorified pornography at the end of the day. And meanwhile, Tucker Carlson is asking him, what do you think about porn? And Andrew Tate's talking about how damaging it is to young men. And it's like, dude, you made your $100 million through webcam girls. Give me a break. He acts like he's Albert Einstein or somebody who brought something of true value to humanity when he's really just a webcam pimp. I could
Yeah,
tell guys to work out.
I just really like I didn't know too much about Andrew Tate until like well, I know a lot of times like you're like Karen, that's exactly what Andrew Tate says. There's a lot of things that proceed out of my mouth that apparently align with Andrew Tate. So I'm
A lot of
here
the
for it.
financial
So
stuff like reminds me, like when I hear you talk about finances, I'm like, oh, I heard that I heard Andrew Tate talk about this.
well,
So
there's like even like general stuff that I like talk about, and you're like, yeah, that's what Andrew Tate says. And I kind of like check myself, like, oh, what? Like what am I? I don't even understand what me and Andrew Tate are in a group. But I agree with you on that yeah, you're coming out here and saying that like almost like traditional values and really you kind of are contributing to destroying young men. So I don't know. I mean, I respect the hustle though. Like.
oh sure, hey, if you have the smarts to figure all that out and you're able to do that, I guess
And you're able
go
to like
for it.
live
But
with doing that. But I think that's a good point where you said about like hedonistic lifestyle, because is he just like the pursuit of wealth and money and not really any kind of fulfillment? Is that part of his
yeah, I saw a
MO?
tweet from him recently that said it was something to the effect of, people ask me if having millions of dollars makes you happy. Yeah, it makes you happy. I wake up every day and like it's all about accumulating as much wealth as humanly possible. and living a very materialistic, hedonistic lifestyle. And it's and another there were so many contradictory things on this Tucker Carlson interview. He's preaching about the importance of settling down with a woman and getting married. Meanwhile, he has multiple baby mamas. He is a very what's the word I'm looking for? Again, it falls into the whole hedonism category. I remember the first video I ever saw from him. He was doing a Christmas Eve video in his hotel in London, and he was talking about how he's preparing for his Christmas orgy. Like, dude, the baby Jesus was just born. Like, we don't need to hear
Yeah.
about your Christmas orgy. Give me a break. Get out of town. Go ahead, Karen.
No, I think I do think that sometimes people that don't have they don't live by a more of a they like maybe they do have some kind of moral code, but they don't necessarily have a moral code that they operate by. They sometimes kind of really respect that, even even though they know that they can't live up to it. It's kind of like J. Edgar Hoover. Like you look at like J. Edgar Hoover, who was like, closet homosexual, but was the head of FBI, and was very much about traditional values and American values, and targeted anybody that kind of went against like the traditional moral code, but was really secretly living this different life. And not that Andrew Tate's living like this secret life, but I think that it's almost, and even like too, like you look at like the mafia, like the old school Italian mafia, where they're like killing
You're at
each other and
church
they're
in the
killing
morning.
people, but they're a church. Yeah. So I think that maybe that's really the psyche of Andrew Tate. It's like he recognizes that that is what's really going to bring somebody value in life, but it's so darn difficult to actually live up to that yourself. Does that make sense in some way?
Yeah, no, I think that mafia analogy was perfect. That always struck
Yeah.
me as so funny, that like the mafia, the Italian mafia, was predominantly Catholic. So
Hmm.
they theoretically they could have whacked some guy like right before church, and then
Yeah.
they're in the pew there holding hands with the family. It's a very, the mafia lifestyle is very contradictory to the values that they
They
claim
have their
to
own moral
espouse.
code. Yeah, they have their own moral code too. I remember, so my family's from the Philadelphia area, and I remember somebody saying about like these other mafia groups or some of the other mob groups that were not Italian. They were like, the thing is, what we like about the Italian mafia is that they kill each other and they have a reason to kill the person. Whereas this other groups, they just kill whoever, they just kill randomly. They're like, we respect that the Italians, they kill each other and they keep it together. And if they're killing somebody, it's for a reason. So, yeah, like I think that that might be something to do with the whole Andrew Tate philosophy. So I'm gonna have to check out that interview. I didn't actually, I was gonna watch it and I
I
didn't.
recommend it. It's definitely worth I mean, it's a 2-hour interview. I don't know if you're willing to devote that much time to listening to Andrew
Yeah, well,
Tate, but
let's really have this conversation. Andrew, it's sad that Andrew Tate has to tell young men to be men because they're not hearing it from their fathers. They're not hearing from the church. The church is like an LGBTQIA re-education center. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of going to church and hearing it, instead of you going to your schools, they're like, be a fox, be a squirrel, whatever you want to be. Just don't be a man. Don't be a man. Don't be a cisgender man, because being a cisgendered man is like it's the fatal sin. It's like of all the 7 deadly sins, the number one sin is being a cisgendered man, especially if you're white. Don't even get involved if you're
just
white.
just a side
Right?
note here before we got on the air, I did mention to you that I'm kind of okay with being a fox. I really like
Yeah.
foxes, and there's something, I don't know, they're just very playful yet cunning. I'm a
Well,
big
I
fan
mean,
of the
I do.
fox.
The Disney Robin Hood where they personify
Yes.
foxes, like I love that. Like that's,
Yeah.
my
Like if my
favorite. So
son watched Robin Hood and said that they wanted that they wanted to be Robin Hood, the fox with the whole outfit, I might put my seal of approval on that and be like, you know what? If you would have told me anything else, I'd had a real problem with that. But if you want to be Robin Hood, the fox, I'm okay with that. I think that that's that is very masculine, actually. Robin Hood was very masculine in the Disney film, the
yeah,
animated
he
film.
was pretty masculine. I'm sure. What about Prince John, the phony king of England? Would he be a
Prince
lion?
John.
Is a lion okay? Would a
I,
lion be acceptable?
yeah, I guess so. What was Friar Tuck? Was he a mole?
Yeah, he looked like I wouldn't go for that. I'd be like, that's where I draw the line, son. No fire moldy. I do want to talk about, because I know you were a big proponent, or I guess you are a big visitor to Disney. And I was having this conversation with my friend about how like Disney is not just for kids. And they were saying that Walt Disney created Disney and was like, yeah, I want this to be a place for everybody. Like I want it to be for adults
Yes.
and children. And they told me that like Epcot basically is like a very adult Disney park. Is that the case from
Yeah.
your reports live from Florida that I appreciate?
Well, first of all, I'd like to clarify. Like, I think that you think. I'm sorry. The producers in our lap here, or in my lap.
Yes, producer.
I'm not even sure. I'm not sure if you can see her head popping
No,
out.
I can't see her. Usually
Yeah,
can.
she was readjusting herself to give me a bath here while we record. But so the Magic Kingdom in Disney World, they do not sell. You cannot get an alcoholic beverage in the Magic Kingdom.
Thank
However,
God. Okay.
right, and that's what Walt would have wanted. But yeah, no alcohol in the Magic Kingdom, but Epcot, that's sort of the adult park because they have the World Showcase there. And in the World Showcase, that's where they have all the countries, they have the
Yeah.
UK and Japan and Norway. And you can go to Mexico and they have drink stations set up, kind of like if you would go to Music Fest, sort of. If
Yeah.
you would go to Music Fest and they have
In
all the drinks,
Bethlehem.
yeah, in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, beautiful Bethlehem. I
Right.
used to
Yeah.
live there once upon a time. You can go and get a frozen drink like a margarita or a gin and tonic or whatever, and you could just walk around and drink your drink and eat your smoked turkey leg and
And
have a
be
good
an
time.
adult child. And be
Yeah,
an adult
exactly.
child.
Be an
Yeah.
adult child, which essentially
Yeah.
is what I am. I am like an adult child, although I'm trying to convince people that I'm a functioning adult that takes care of his business and runs a household. And but we all know the truth. You know the truth, Karen, and you accept me. Even though you
Yeah.
know what this is, this mess.
Yes. This
And I
adult child.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. This is why we're
Yeah.
friends, and this is why we're doing a podcast. But go ahead.
So I'm gonna say, like, I am definitely bewildered sometimes when I talk to, like, now you live in Florida and you live very close to Orlando, not to give out your address, but like,
I live in parts
you
unknown Florida, but I'm close enough
parts,
where it's
yeah,
not like
yeah,
a huge trek to get to Disney World.
yeah. But it kind of amazes me. Like, I'm always amazed by people that like continue to, like, I know adults that go there like every single year. And I just think to myself, like, isn't there, like, there's a world out there. Like there's the Grand Canyon, there's like Yellowstone. Look at your disgust. I feel like you're like, and why would you go to any of those?
Because I'm thinking about because automatically my mind goes to airport security, like, oh God, I gotta take
Yeah.
all this shit out of my pockets and put
No, no, I just mean like if you are traveling anyways, like you're like, I've got to go back to Disney World again. Like, what are you getting? Like, what is at Disney that is so thrilling to you? And these people are like, it's the happiest place on earth. And it's like,
no, I wouldn't call it the
happiest?
happiest place on earth.
Happiest? Like that's
For me, it's very simple. I like theme parks. I like going on certain rides. And to me, it's
yeah.
like, well, why go to Knoebels every year? because you like
Yeah.
to go on the Cosmotron or the Phoenix or what have you. And I grew up, going on Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion and
Wow, you had some money if you were going
oh,
back and forth to
Karen,
Disney a
I
lot.
I come from a very wealthy, well-to-do
How many times did
Coleridgean
you go to
family.
Disney as a kid? How many we got that Sipco money.
See, yeah, right. We secretly were getting those Sifco brother donations.
So how often did you go to Disney World?
Um, I don't know. I've been going there since I think my first trip I was 2 years old, and I remember I was like screaming on the plane as it was taking off. I was super freaked out. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But
That explains a lot. That explains a lot.
oh, we we
We
haven't
don't have
even.
enough time. We don't have enough
Yeah, there's so
time.
many layers to the onion here. But God, I remember going since I was like 6 years old, and we would go once every few years, I
Okay, so a few
guess.
years, so not
Not,
every
yeah,
year.
no, not like every single year, but like once every few years. And it used to be a lot more economically feasible, I think, for your average bloke
Yes, that's true. They
to
keep
do a
raising the
Disney trip.
prices. Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah.
today, I mean, I'm in Florida, so I've got the annual pass, which was a pretty penny to get that. But essentially now I can go pretty much whenever I want, with a few exceptions. There's some blockout dates here
Blackout
and there,
dates.
but
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
most part, it's pretty much wide open. Like if I want to, after I get off this podcast, I can drive over to the Magic Kingdom and go on Space Mountain and be home at night for supper.
All right, all right. So you've seen the Florida Project movie, right?
The Florida Pro. Why does that sound familiar? What is
Oh,
that?
it's so good. All right. Well, you're gonna have to watch it. It's a movie about like basically the seedy underbelly of the people that aren't even good enough to work at the parks.
Oh,
Like
it's a
the people that live
documentary, right?
no, no, it's actually a film.
Oh,
And what's his name is in it? The Hobgoblin. Uh
Michael Eisner or
no, the one from the
Michael
original, like
Moore.
the original Spider-Man movie. Oh man, he was in
Oh,
the
uh, Willem Dafoe, great
William
actor.
Dafoe. Oh,
Platoon.
it's so good. You've got to see. You've got to see
I
the
love
Florida
him.
Project. Oh, you'll love it. So, but yes, so I just kind of get bewildered when I talk to I mean like I would consider going to like especially because like I know somebody I have a really good high school friend that worked there for years. He comes from like a Disney family, like where his mom has like the Disney license. I won't even say what it is because then that'll identify her. She had like Disney license plate, Disney this, Disney that. And I don't know if we've discussed this on the show, but I think okay, so I think that this is important conversation. And if hopefully they never listen to this. So it's gonna be, so very into Disney, very into Disney. And if you've ever seen, there used to be like documentaries when we were kids or like 60-minute specials on these like Disney fanatics that would like get married at Disney and like that guy who made like his entire house about Disney and he was
No,
like
I'm not
real
like that, by the way. I
I
just
know
want to
you're not no,
clarify.
we know that. Yeah. He's like, for all the North Korean defectors listening, I'm not like that.
I just like to go to the parks every now and then. Give me a
Yes.
break. Cut me some slack here.
No, no, I just want to share about some Disney people. And like everybody I know can probably relate to this. I like know somebody that's like way too into Disney. And the interesting thing about my friend's mother is that she lives her life. Like, I think that if you watch Disney movies, I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, where like Disney always ends when they get married. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you watch a Disney princess movie and it's
Yeah,
like the little and like
Aladdin,
yeah, I think we talked about this where like they never show you like,
the
like the Little
aftermath.
Mermaid. Yeah, they never show you what happens after you get married. So like the Little Mermaid doesn't show you when like Prince Eric comes out and like he's cheating on Ariel. Like they don't show you, the Beauty and the Beast where like the beast is physically abusing Belle. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't show you the nitty gritty that happens. It's just a fairy tale. So some of these like Disney people, I feel like that's their life. Like they live in their like this woman I know, like she's been married like multiple times, and I feel like it's because she lives a Disney fantasy. Like she thinks that like, all right, we just get married and like
Live
it's just
happily ever after
live happily ever
in the castle.
after in the castle. Yeah.
And the candlesticks are singing and the teapots are singing and the
Yeah.
birds are
Yeah.
chirping and it's
And I
all
think,
just sunshine, right?
yeah, so it really sets you up for failure as an adult. And I think like if you're a Disney fanatic, you need to watch the Florida Project movie and see what it's really like. Life outside in the kind of in the shadow of the Magic Kingdom. You definitely need to watch it. I'm gonna watch Insidious or in wait,
Nefarious.
Nefarious,
Great
Insidious.
movie.
I'm gonna watch Nefarious, and you're gonna watch the Florida Project, and that is our homework for the next week. But yeah, so Disney, like I said, it just seems like it's really, I don't know. I don't hate on anybody going, like, do your thing. Like you going is not weird to me. You live nearby, you get a discount, you're a single guy. There might be some, Belle might be dressed up and she might be a North Korean defector that's turned into a Mennonite. She's a Mennonite North Korean defector
Or
that
Snow
wants to
White.
be it's Snow White, yeah, and wants to be your wife, and so like it makes sense for you to go. It's just like there's some people that are just they like kind of like freak me out. Like they put me on edge and they're like, we love going to Disney every
You're
year.
like,
And you're like,
okay,
yeah, you
okay.
freak.
I guess for a lot of us, see, we are not willing to let Walt Disney, his original vision, die. Like, damn it, no.
Okay.
This was supposed to be a place
What
for
was his
families.
vision? It was supposed to be a place for grown adults to just get drunk in different countries. That's
No,
what
no,
okay.
no. He would not have even approved and of alcohol at any of the parks. I don't think.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Because that's pretty much what my friends were saying about like it being a place for adults. I don't think it's supposed to be a place for adults to get inebriated. I think it's just supposed to be for adults to have fun by, hanging out on It's a Small World After All or something stupid like that.
That's
But
in the
like,
Magic Kingdom.
that's okay. So that's no but I'm saying I think that Walt would not agree with alcohol either. But what was Walt's original idea? Because I'm not like a Disney aficionado.
His
You're
original
like
idea for the Anaheim, California location, Disneyland, it was quite simple. This is supposed to be a place for families to go out together on a Sunday afternoon and enjoy each other and have good, wholesome, clean family fun. Now, obviously, the current inception of Disney, the corporation, is anything but good, wholesome, clean family fun. But I'm not willing to just bury Walt's original vision and say, "Oh, it's dead, it's all over." Like, no, damn it, I am a normal person with traditional family values, and no, I'm going to continue.
normal. Okay.
I'm going to
Person
continue.
with traditional family values.
Yeah, let's go with that. A person with somewhat traditional values, and I would very much like, if I'm blessed with a family someday, to take my family and go on Pirates of the Caribbean and It's a Small World and the Haunted Mansion and Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain. I grew up with that. That was a part of my childhood. It was a part of my adolescence, my adulthood. I'm not letting that go. I'm holding on to that. We're going to preserve that. And I'll be damned if some woke ideologues are going to turn that upside down and spoil it for everyone. No, I refuse.
Awesome. I love the energy you bring to defending Walt Disney. You're like, Collin, we need to send you to defend freedom from the Chinese for the Americans. And you're like, you defect to Canada. You're like, I will not fight for this country. But you're like, Walt Disney, I will fight for his beliefs.
I will
defend it to the death.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't think I would go, like, Canada is a less than ideal place to flee these days.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
probably
true.
go to
Colombia.
Somewhere in South America, I think. Oh,
Yeah,
Shakira is from Colombia, I think.
Yeah, I think she is, like Brazil, Colombia. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so maybe I could find somebody like Shakira. down in Colombia, and we could raise a
Yeah.
family together and live happily ever
Yeah, on a
after.
cocoa farm. Yeah. And just
Yeah.
send all your cocoa overseas. I mean, in the States, just put it on a mule. There you go. That's a dream. And I don't know how I feel like Disney somehow like finds its way into like every one of our conversations. This is
It's my
becoming a
fault.
Disney podcast.
It's my fault. It's the whole Florida thing. It's the whole me texting you, oh, Karen, I'm at the Animal Kingdom
Yeah.
going on
Sorry,
Avatar.
I'm busy right now.
Right. It's
But
my fault.
speaking of, because this is somehow also like becoming like a movie podcast, but that's okay because there's not a lot of news going on this week, people. Okay. Like the world's ending. What else do you need to know?
What,
You know
what,
what I
what more
mean?
do we
Like,
have to say about,
what do we
like,
have to, yeah.
it's like the 45th president? Yes, he's being indicted yet again. He's going to be arrested and he's going to wind up in a DC jail probably. And,
Yeah. What is there to add to that? Like Biden is, sleeping somewhere talking about how he loves children. Like, there's nothing to add. There's nothing to, yeah, this is
it's
the
over.
collapse of a country. Yeah, exactly. It's over. Like,
It's
get
done.
with it. We're here. We're going to Disney World. We're talking about Mission Impossible. It's all you can do. It's all you can do at this point in time, right? It's just listen to Andrew Tate. Do what he says.
Mission Impossible, Dead
Yes, Mission
Reckoning, Part
Impossible.
1. I cannot say enough about this. Is the cinematic event of the summer. Granted, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. They'll probably go see that next week, but I highly doubt I'm going to have as much fun at Oppenheimer as I had at Mission Impossible with my father. We saw it.
I thought you were going to say my father, Tom Cruise. I thought you were going to say
No,
like my father, Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is a mentor and a friend.
Okay.
You know that there's something seriously mentally wrong with me because, okay, so when I went to see Top Gun, if you went to see Top Gun in theaters, Tom Cruise appears, he has a pre-recorded message that plays before the movie where he thanks everybody for coming out and spending their hard-earned money, and he says, we made this movie for you to enjoy on the big screen. And there's something about Tom Cruise conveying that message that like tugs at my heartstrings.
Did you tear up?
Oh my God, within like seconds of Tom Cruise appearing on the screen, I'm like trying to hold back tears because he's like the last vestige of old Hollywood to me. He's the only one who gives a damn anymore about making a fun movie that's not trying to convey any sort of stupid social message. He's just like, damn it, I want people to come to the movies and have fun and watch things explode and watch people get into, ridiculous superhuman scenarios. Tom is the last guy that's waving the flag for that. There's nobody else. So
yeah, he's upholding the industry.
Yeah, he's carrying the whole. Yeah, the entire, Hollywood. Let's face it, it's dead. It's far more than a shadow of its former self. And Tom's the only one that's making movies for guys who like movies like me.
For you cisgendered bastards. Yeah.
He's the only one. And let me tell you, this movie, you're not going to have this was, I would say, about a 9 on a 10 scale. It's just a fun film. The plot is centered around AI. It got me thinking about how much predictive programming is in this movie. I don't know are you familiar with the concept of predictive programming?
Yes, definitely. Yes, which we could explain for people is kind of like, okay, we're getting you ready for what you're going to see in the future. And we're just kind of
right.
What's the word I would say? Like we're just desensitizing you. We're just pre-programming.
So it's easier to accept. You saw it on TV or in film. I mean, Chris Carter, creator of the X-Files, he's on record saying that the CIA would casually approach him and be like, "Hey, what do you think of this for a plot? This sounds interesting, huh? This would be a good story."
Which is so great. We're actually watching the X-Files right now. That's like our thing, which is like
Great
I
show.
understand is like 20 seasons with like 30 episodes a season. But as soon as you said predictive programming, I thought of the X-Files. Well,
Yeah.
because I'm watching it,
But the
but
whole
yeah,
plot of
so
this movie, the entire plot is basically this foreign multinational globalist villain is trying to harness this powerful AI entity in order to become a god and have control of civilization.
this sounds great. This sounds like reality.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise's character, the Ethan Hunt, the altruistic Ethan Hunt, his entire goal is he wants to destroy this AI. So it's a battle. It's the oldest tale. It's a battle between good and evil. You know, the globalists versus the patriots, which is going on in real time as we speak. So it's something that you can really relate to in the parlance of our times, shall we say. And all I'm saying, Karen, is if you want to have some fun at the movies and leave your thoughts at the door, not your thoughts, but you're going to see some ridiculous
Your worries.
Right. Leave your worries at the door. You know, don't try and think too much into it. Yeah, you're going to see Tom Cruise doing all sorts of superhuman, impossible stunts, which is what you want to see. That's what I go to the movies to see. You know?
Yeah, I don't go to I remember seeing years ago, like seeing the movie Precious, which I will say Mariah Carey did a fabulous performance as the social worker. She made herself so ugly, which is something Mariah Carey like never does. And she just brought it. Like she just brought it to that appearance. But it's kind of like it's just like kind of depressing. You're like, yeah, this is I don't want to watch a thing about a girl who's like molested by her mom and pregnant 17 times by the time she's 15 and she's morbidly obese. Like, what is like, no, like, what do I mean, I'm not saying the movie was horrible, but I'm just saying when I was younger, I used to like love stuff like that. Like I used to love things that were like depressing. And now I'm like, oh my God, the world is depressing. Like, let me shut this off. But I want to talk about Tom Cruise for a minute. I have a friend who was
one of my favorite topics.
Yes. It was like, okay, we'll be here for another hour. Tom Cruise. So I have a friend who was like bashing Tom Cruise recently, and I didn't really think about it that much because this isn't like my area of expertise, which
it's not your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's not my wheelhouse. And I will again just reiterate that I'm really not an area. I have no areas of expertise. I just want to, reconfirm that to everybody. Like the only area of expertise I have is like whatever Andrew Tate's talking about. Like him and I are I'm told that him and I have a lot of the same area of expertise. Nonetheless, I just didn't get involved. I didn't engage in this debate about Tom Cruise and the Tom Cruise hatred. I just kind of like didn't think about it. Like I didn't really.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
I just didn't think about it. But now that we're talking about Tom Cruise, I'm sitting here and thinking about it. And I'm thinking about how, like you said about Tom Cruise, interesting that he's doing this thing about AI because he also was the star of Minority Report, which was kind of everybody is saying like that predictive policing, which is a really good film. If you haven't watched it, I only watched it about 2 years ago, only because it was mentioned so many times, people talking about predictive policing. And I'm like, I've got to see this movie. So watch Minority Report. It's happening in Japan. I saw an article today that they are implementing something like this. Obviously this is a fantasy version of that, but the idea, the method, I don't want to say the method because it's completely different in the movie, but basically the idea of predictive policing is featured in Minority Report, which I think is a Spielberg movie, right?
Yes. Great movie.
Also, I want to say too, shout out to Tom Cruise, Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick. Okay. Like watch that movie. That's essential. That is essential viewing for like anybody that likes movies and anybody that also is insane like we are. And is like, if you were like an Alex Jones viewer, if you think that the globalists are coming to take over, if you think George Soros has children locked in his basement, if you're worried about what happened on Epstein's Island, you need to watch Eyes Wide Shut. End of story, period. Like,
Fun
watch it
fact.
now.
I,
Yes.
I I once told the class of adults that I was teaching that Eyes Wide Shut is my favorite Christmas movie, because we were all talking about our favorite Christmas films, and I said, "Well, mine is a little movie called Eyes Wide Shut. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before." And I said it with a completely straight face because it takes place during the Christmas
It
season.
does. It does.
It's a
It's
Christmas film.
very Christmas. Yeah, it's definitely, it's like very festive
Yeah.
in its own way. But like I said, if you're on Stanley Kubrick, like duh, like just go watch it. If you have not watched it, watch it now. I'm looking at the camera and saying, watch Eyes Wide Shut. Your eyes will be open.
He died before that was released under
Yes.
mysterious circumstances, I might add.
Yes.
Was he flying a little too close to the sun, perhaps? Did he get a little too close to the
Perhaps.
source of
Perhaps.
truth, maybe?
Hmm. But yeah, so Tom Cruise is in that. Tom Cruise, Minority Report, and kind of, and really, here's what I really wanted to say about Tom Cruise that I completely forgot when this topic of conversation came up with my friend who does not like Tom Cruise, which, like, I don't know, don't like the guy as a person. I don't really care, but don't take away from some of his roles. Tom Cruise won me over in Tropic Thunder. Like, that's it
I
for
never
me.
saw
Like,
that.
oh my goodness, he plays a film executive. Oh my goodness, you need to see Tropic Thunder. He plays like, he puts on a fat suit and plays like this ridiculous, like Harvey Weinstein character. And it's like, just like really like crazy and rude and like over the top. Oh, I loved it. I mean, because it's so not Tom Cruise, and he pulls it off because he's like in a fat suit, and he's like funny. Like he like delivers so much humor. Like, when I think back to that movie, like one of the funniest things to me is Tom Cruise
That was
in
his
the
first
fat
comedic
suit.
role, I think.
Yes, yeah, and so, like, I think that to me, it's like an actor should have range. Like, I think that's the most important thing about a good actor. Like, if they can do a complete 180 and become a character that's not them whatsoever, like, that's the marking of a good actor. You don't want to be like nowadays, a lot of young people, like, I remember being in like in college, and like all these girls have pictures of like Audrey Hepburn up just because she's like super skinny, and they're like, anybody who like somebody is an idiot. I might as well just be smart. I might as well just be myself. Okay. Let me just be a bitch. So,
Your true self.
yes, my true. Yeah. I'm just airing it out there. Someone has a superficial understanding of cinema if they're like Breakfast at Tiffany's is like my favorite movie, because, or like Audrey Hepburn's my favorite actress. And they think that they're so deep because they know somebody that's like before Jennifer Lawrence. But if you really watch Audrey Hepburn movies because you actually watch film and you actually care, you know that she's a terrible, like, she has like one character, and it's like just this like innocent character. Like, she's not a good actress. Now, Audrey Hepburn as a person was amazing. Like, she's a wonderful person, survived World War II, starved, became a UNICEF ambassador, really cared about children. Like, I'm not, and I think that her in that role is iconic. I think she's an iconic actress. And I think that she was beautiful. And I think that some of the roles, like Roman Holiday, just suited her so well. But I would not call her like a great actress. Like, you look like Ginger Rogers. She was like way better than Audrey Hepburn. But what I'm saying is, you have like these morons that go out there and they're like, I have a poster of Audrey Hepburn at and they're like, Breakfast at Tiffany's. And they think that they think they're like Robert Osborne from Turner Classic Movies, rest in peace. But like,
I used to love
you know what
Robert Osborne.
I know,
When he
right?
would
And
do
like,
those pre-introductions And back when I was a kid, I didn't understand the concept of things were taped. So I thought that they had this guy just living in this room. Like I thought everything was live when I was a little kid. So I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this guy is really dedicated. He's in this room. They keep him there. He introduces every film. This is
He's
amazing.
waiting for the next one to come on.
Yeah.
We all thought that as kids, that like everything, like the radio, like everything, nothing was taped. But yeah, so like a lot of these people just think that like, okay, Audrey Hepburn, because she was thin and iconic, like, yeah, I know cinema and I'm so deep. It's like, no, get over yourself. It's kind of like people that think like they listen, they're going to the Taylor Swift. Here we go. Taylor
All
Swift. Like they go to
roads
the
lead to T Swift. All roads.
like they're going to Taylor Swift concert and they like listen to like one Grateful Dead song. So they're like, I'm really into music. Like I really like music. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll listen to like Stand By Me, like the song Stand By Me, such a good song. But it's like, I like old music. And it's like they know one song, but they
Yeah,
think that
from the
they're like,
movie.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you
from
heard
the
it from
movie.
the
Yeah.
movie.
They probably don't even know that. They like know it from like TikTok or something. Like it's like used on a TikTok thing. And it's like, yeah, I'm
Probably.
really deep. I'm really like I really know stuff. Or like they know like Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. And it's like, oh yeah, like they're, like they think that that's like culture.
Right.
But yeah. So
And I think that so I started getting all of these Taylor Swift stories as suggestions on my Instagram because I think we were talking about her, and right after that I started getting all of these suggestions, and I watched some of these stories just in amazement at the current youth. Like I'm watching
not even
her.
youth. It's not even youth. Like they're our
No.
age.
Yeah, they're our age, they're younger, they're older than us, and they're dropping God knows how many thousands of dollars to see this chick from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania parade around on a stage singing, lip syncing to a backing track. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if there's
We don't know
definitely,
if she lip syncs. We don't know that.
yeah, I don't know if she lip syncs or not, but there's definitely there's a lot of pre-recorded elements in her show. I saw a recent clip where there was a flight full of, I think they call them Swifties. I think that's what her fans are known
Yes,
as.
yeah.
There was a flight that was delayed somewhere, and all of the Swifties on this aircraft were just singing Taylor Swift songs as they're parked
I
on the
would like to
runway.
I would literally demand my money back. I would be like, I just had to endure this for like an hour and I might need like some kind of financial compensation to
You
get
would have
through
to
the rest
probably
of my
pull
life.
the like the emergency exit. Like
I mean, can you imagine?
you would.
Like, I cannot take this anymore. If I have to hear one horrible, stupid song written by an algorithm, I'm going to blow this plane up. I'm going to blow the plane up. But yeah, it's very bizarre, like watching all, and I don't understand, like Taylor Swift has gone on tour before. Like, why? Like, part of me thinks that this is like a fantastic. I just want to throw it out there. I respect the hell out of Taylor Swift's hustle. Can we
Oh
just
yeah,
can we just say, as a businesswoman, there is nobody like her in our like generation. Like she is I just give
she's
her
our
so much
Beatles, Karen.
respect. She Okay, let's back that up a little bit. She's more like Michael Jackson because he bought the Beatles catalog.
That's true.
But like she is a businesswoman and it's about and like public relations. Like she's so polished. Like she's so good at like I never feel like she convinces these people that they know the real version of her, but she's always putting on an act. And it's just breathtaking. Like there's something breathtaking about
Yes.
how professionally polished she is and how these like it's like they have some kind of disease. Like it's like a cult. It's like some kind of cult.
It's very cult
Yes,
like.
it's
That's
like
my
you're
whole
watching.
point. Watching these kids
Yes.
on the flight parked on the runway. I saw another video where there was a group of kids. They're outside. They're not even in the stadium. They're outside of the stadium while the concert is going on, like on a sidewalk somewhere, just
Can't even
singing
get in.
singing every single word to one of her stupid little cartoon algorithm songs, like you so correctly put it. And it's just, I guess I'm looking at these Instagram stories just in awe of how this young girl has branded herself and how she is just taken in. God knows how much do you think that she's like? She's definitely worth 100 million, right?
She's got to be. Yeah. I mean, props to her. Like I said, I respect the hell out of her as a businesswoman. Now, what uh, I go back and forth, and I'm sure you understand because you're actually a musician. So you
I am.
actually can appreciate like real music and how it's made. And I'm not going to sit there and say that I am a musician whatsoever.
This is
Okay.
like that Willem Dafoe meme. I'm somewhat of a musician myself.
Like for me, it's like I kind of have this internal conflict where I'm at a point where I'm like, if you like that, that's fine. And I'm not going to judge you for your interest like, consider that subjective in a sense, but like, okay, like if you choose to love Taylor Swift, like that's great. I love that for you. But please, can we tone it down with trying to say that like she is the greatest artist or songwriter of our generation? Like, no, the greatest songwriter or artist of our generation is like, husking it down in Nashville for like
Yeah,
quarters on a sidewalk and dying in obscurity. Like, can
yeah.
we be real here? And he's like, you go and look, and there's like 7 producers on one lousy song, and then they act like it's like, and I'm not saying she doesn't write some of this music, but like also, yeah, maybe she does write some of it, and it's not really that impressive. Like,
I
I'm
mean, she can
sorry. Like,
strum some bar chords on her acoustic guitar, and
and I
kudos to
just,
her for that.
yeah, and I'm not like a big pop music fan. Like, I never had, I mean, but I can acknowledge when a song is objectively catchy, right? Like I can acknowledge like, okay, I don't like this. Like somebody like The Weeknd, but he did stuff with Daft Punk and stuff. And I'm like, this isn't like what I'm into, but I think that stuff is like objectively good. Like, I'm like, oh
That
yeah,
Get
like
Lucky
that's,
tune was catchy as hell.
yes, Daft Punk, like that was catchy. A lot of the stuff The Weeknd does, like I can get into that. That's good. Like I think he's kind of like a Michael Jackson figure of our, well, I don't know if he's necessarily Michael, but I feel like he kind of fills that void. Um, but I don't even think that most of Taylor Swift's music's even catchy. Like, I don't even think, I
No,
think the algorithms, I think maybe the algorithm needs to take over from her. Like, it's like she's trying to like subject herself too much into it. And the algorithm's probably trying to come up with something better. And she's like asserting herself and it's making it worse. Like, it's not. So I wanted to say that because I can acknowledge that my boy, Justin Bieber, makes some freaking catchy music. Okay. I don't love Justin Bieber, but I'm like, that baby song, you're like, baby, baby. Like, okay, this is catchy. Like, this is catchy. I can get into this. Whoever is like she needs to fire her producers because I want to get to the point where I hear a Taylor Swift song and I can't help but like it. But I don't even think that she makes music that I can even help but like. Like, I'm just like, oh,
it's not even
like
palatable. It's
it's
just you.
also vanilla. It's not even catchy. It's like just vanilla, like, and it's all like the same crap over and over again. And like, I guess like I just you know what? Like I always tell the story about when I was a kid. All right, this is gonna be a little bit of a longer episode. When I was a kid, I was the 3rd grade. Maybe some of you people can relate to this, you 90s kids. And in 3rd grade, everybody in my class had a Lisa Frank which Lisa Frank was like the unicorns, very colorful binders and stuff that the girls probably had in your class. And I went to a Christian school in it was a private Christian school in Philadelphia. So a lot of people paid like tuition to go. And so some of the people were like wealthier than us, like most of them, like everybody. Okay.
Just real quick, I had a Hulk Hogan folder, and like he had his shirt off, he was glistening, like sweat was like dripping down. He was juiced to the gills. So I had like this muscular half naked man on my folder that I'm like passing forward with my homework.
For
Go ahead.
math, yeah. So all the girls in third grade would, and for some reason it became popular that year to have your binder out on your desk, and you would open your binder, and everybody in my class, all the girls had a Lisa Frank binder. So I too wanted a Lisa Frank binder, as you can understand.
Sure.
So I asked my mom for a binder because I needed to have a binder on my desk. We go to the store, which is probably like Caldor or something like that at the time, that doesn't even exist anymore. We go and she finds this Mead 5-star navy blue, like just like a basic navy blue binder. And I think I probably was like, I want this one. And she's like, what? Like, that's licensed. You're getting this. So then I pick the one, and she goes, we're going to use that until you're in 6th grade. So I think like something happened as a child where I was like, I survived not having the Lisa Frank binder. And I think like as I became in my formative years, I realized like, oh, I don't need an Abercrombie clothes. I don't need Hollister clothes. I don't need to listen to Taylor Swift. So I really like at that time must have been a pivotal thing where like I kind of detached from like what was completely normal for a millennial girl. And like I was okay. Like I think my mom like enforced like not being with the crowd. So I feel like I just kind of, the whole Taylor Swift thing was like lost on me. So I
For the
hope that there's
best.
yes, for the best. I hope that there's somebody out there that can they can relate. Like, you're not alone. You too do not have the Lisa Frank binder. You too are not going to remortgage your house for Eras tickets, and you too can accept that Taylor Swift is a businesswoman and not an artist. So that's an important, that's an important lesson to kind of like what you like. I was more into Bob Dylan at the time, it's just the way things happened.
I
So
have we can't get into it on this podcast, but I have such mixed feelings about Bob Dylan for a litany of different reasons. One of them pertaining to a female who I was in love with at the time. And I just, whenever I hear Bob Dylan's name, she's the first person who I think of. And if you're listening to, if she's listening, you know who you are. You know damn well who you are. Boy, those were some weird times. Anyway,
how you ruined me.
no,
No.
just it was
Is it more like
just
you see what you're missing? Is it more like that?
no, not at all. It was
Oh,
just
it was just a time.
it was
There's
just a
no
time of unrequited affections, and it got pretty weird. But I think that's a good way to end it. And oh no, let's end this with a Bible verse. Actually, when you were talking
okay.
about, I don't know what verse this is, but when
I
you were
meant to start this with a prayer, but I forgot because we just got into, whatever neuroses happened.
when you were talking about Taylor Swift's music, how it's like not even catchy, it made me think of when God said, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but
I'm paraphrasing God.
if you're not, you're right, I'm paraphrasing the Lord Almighty here, but if you're not cold, you're not hot. If you're
Hot
lukewarm,
and
I
lukewarm,
spit you
spit
out of
you
my
out.
mouth. And
Spit you
that's
out.
kind of Taylor Swift's music. God spitting it out of his mouth, because it's not even like, what is it even? It's not hot. It's not cold. It's just kind of.
Whoa, that is you're so right. That is 100%. You just nailed down all the thoughts in my head about it.
Thank you.
Exactly. I spit you out.
Thank you.
There you
Well, I
go.
think that's a good
Yeah.
place to end it. Perfect place.
I do want to say too, real quick, like Taylor Swift, you're more than welcome to come on the show. Okay. So just,
Yeah,
just wanna put that-
maybe you can use we can use our connections in Reading or Wyomissing to kind of lure her on to really give like a candid, like a Tucker Carlson kind of interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
For-
I'm just saying, like, I respect her, but like for different reasons than most people do. So I just wanted to put that out there. No
but
hate.
she's neither hot nor cold. She's lukewarm.
No,
And we
she's
know what God does
lukewarm.
with the lukewarm. Okay. Listen, we thank all of you for if you've hung in there until the end of this. We appreciate it. Give us a like on Rumble. We're on Twitter now as well. So give us a follow on Twitter. And we'll see you here next week for more musings and random thoughts about pop culture, occasionally geopolitics, and just life in general here on the ReEducation Camp. Thank you all, and God bless.